Now, let me tell you this story. It blew my mind when I was a young girl. I was young and I met this other. She was not too grown. She was about in her 20s. And this was somebody who was trained in France. I mean, when I talk, there are women you meet and you say, this is a lady. She was that type. Prim and proper, well-groomed. Hey, when she's speaking, then some French, we just pass mon Dieu, something chanté, and je t'aime, all those exactement. I have a friend called exactement. If you do that, she'll write to us. So, this lady was living with her sister. But she was so well groomed that she took everything World Cup. So she's living with her sister, but when she's going to cook in the kitchen, she'll be wearing 6 inches heels. Yeah. She couldn't even walk in slippers. Everything was heels. So when you see her, you know you've met a lady. Then her sister will come back with her husband. Maybe she's tired and want to let her hair out and all. And this one is prim and proper, nicely groomed. One day her sister rose up and said, hey, my dear, I know you're my sister, but there are some things that does not know sister or brother. Today, you have to decide to let down this high heels and all the way you dress up in my house, or you go away. So it became a tussle, it became a row, a fight, kind of. So this talk, and then she realized that she felt in her heart, because at that point she was very broken. She said, no, how would my sister talk to me? In those days, I had my phone. I just had to pick it up and call this man. And this classic new type of Benz will be at my beck and call. I need everything I needed. She just did it and it came. Just did it and it came. And now, because she's a Christian, and then she had come into this circle that we're talking about tongues and praying in tongues, and she was now praying in tongues and all that. And so now, look at me. How come my sister talk? She was out of anger. She just picked her high heels and, of course, began to walk out of the house. Walking out of the house, then she began to cry. We're feeling dejected. I said, what at all am I do? Why don't I just call this man? He will come and pick me right now and will take me to a 5-star hotel. I don't have to struggle. Why? She began to do that. So all these thoughts were coming to her mind as she was walking. Then she saw on her side, by the roadside, this church made up of wooden planks. Wawa board. So she had, go inside. And what should I go inside for? I'm talking, I'm praying, I'm crying, I'm hurt, I'm bitter, and why will God? Then she had, go inside. She was at a point where she was very low, so they started walking. So when she walked in, which people were there? Charcoal sellers and pepper sellers, and tomato sellers. She was wearing Dior perfume. I mean that type. And now here where they were. So she decided she would go to the farthest corner and go and wedge by one of the chairs, a seat. And normally in this, they don't even have one single chair to yourself, a seat. She has to now sit down gingerly by one of them. So as she was sitting there, then they gave a prayer topic and said, shall we pray in those places? Very fiery. So become, so she decided to keep quiet. She couldn't even have the edge. She knew how she could speak in tongues, but at this time she was so discouraged she was not going to speak any tongues anywhere. But whichever tongues she was, even the tongues, she was not even sure what kind of language is this. When I speak it, what am I saying? Immediately she heard her name. The woman by her side, charcoal seller, with her clothes hanging on her like a scarecrow, mentioned her name. Then she began to rattle in pure bourgeoisie French and said, listen, my daughter, what are you saying? Which of these men can take care of you like me? I am the Lord your God. Hey! She could not pray again. She had opened her eyes and she was looking at this woman. Said, my goodness, this woman, he said, this kind of French is reserved for the bourgeois. I know that is royalty in France who speak this kind of language. No one can pronounce these words like how this woman is pronouncing it. Pure, it was just coming forth. Gushing forth. And that was the end, the change in her life. She came out. She said when she finished, she was looking at the woman, whether the woman would turn around and say au revoir or something to somebody. No, the woman could not even speak English. Stark illiterate, and she was waddling. You see, you don't have to see this before you believe. In Christianity, we believe before we see. So what God is telling you, that is a language for you. And this is a sign that should follow you. Oh, I'm going to speak in tongues.